Welcome to the Sales Acceleration Show. My name is Michael Humblet and I'm the founder of Chaomatic, and in this show we interview sales and marketing experts to learn how to scale and accelerate your business. And today it's a bit of a special one because I've invited the best event organizer, can I say it like that, in Belgium. His name is Rien, and today we're gonna dig deep into organizing events and scaling your business through, let's say, trainings and all of that. Rien, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mika, for the invitation.
Tell our viewers, what do you do exactly?
Well, actually, my name is Rien van den Bosch. I'm the managing partner of Kooach, which is a company that's specialized in training as a service, and also in creating events and trainings for marketeers and for salespeople.
Yeah. You know, I always start with the typical question. What would be your advice? Somebody phones you up, because I get a lot of these phones. Somebody phones you up and says, I'm thinking of doing an event. Where do you start? What do you say?
Well, first of all, is what's the goal of the event?
Really,
because doing an event is for most companies, doing an event is just to have some people to gather around and to have more face-to-face contact.
Yeah, can I call it community building? Like
that should be one of the goals.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
Because most of them say we're going to do an event and we're going to try and get all the prospects in there and try and sell them something, and then I see this thing happening every time. Then they say we want 100, they get 20, and then they phone up all their existing customers, and it becomes this blended thing where nobody really gets what it is.
But that's also the thing. If you do an event as a company, you have exceptions, of course, like the big ones, the Adobes and the HubSpots,
the Microsofts of the world.
Those events are well known. But if you are a smaller company, the difficulty is mostly that people, like you said, people want to sell something, and
they smell it.
Yeah, they smell it. If the message is not right on your website, if the message is not right on your invitation, people smell it and they don't come because they get invited for lots of events. Yeah,
one of the comments I hear a lot is that people don't go outside, they don't go to events, although I see more and more events.
Yeah.
So
you see more and more events for the simple reason that because you have offline and online, a combination of both.
I agree.
You can attract people online, but it stops at a certain moment. So you have to attract them also offline.
Yeah.
And that's by doing events, because when I started my first job at Agfa Gevaert, I got a pin that had an abbreviation that says you can't do business just sitting on your ass. Yeah. And that's why you have to do events. To meet those people face to face, to have more interaction with them, and to sense what they need.
So one of the typical mistakes I see people do, then they do the event, and then you have the classic opening speech, and then they start with the product. Blah, 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 and it's actually boring as hell, right? So I'm a strong believer in not selling is the new sales, you know that? So what would be your advice? Get in an expert. I mean, you have to raise the expertise level, or is there like best practices? You say, forget that, do that.
Yeah, if you do an event as a company, for example, most of those companies want to have one or two of their employees speaking at their own event.
It's like a mandatory tick in the box. Yeah. Jim, the expert, he's gonna talk.
You're gonna be on stage. You have to talk, and then there's a certain panic. With that person, and
Jim has no clue, and he's going to make classic sales slides.
Exactly. What I always say, and that's typically content marketing, actually, because you have to give content to the people and you have to transfer knowledge. Is that you have your product or your service, and you always have to talk about the periphery of your product and your service, because otherwise people are not able to connect with what you do. You have to make a sort of indirect connection with your product and your service, and then people start.
Give an example. Is that like use cases?
A use case is very welcome. Of course, and
very rare, by the way. I mean, and sometimes these use cases are like, I was in one of these events. I think you were there too, and then this guy from a bank, and he just talked about himself and the team, and I was just thinking,
nobody cares.
He's like, I mean, this is horror.
Yeah, exactly. And for example, if you want to tell a case as a company, always try to invite the guy that put the case together with your company. For example, if you have a coffee brand, and you do certain stuff for a coffee brand, try to invite the marketing manager of the coffee brand to talk with you or to make a sort of interaction, because people always love to have the marketing manager of the coffee brand talking to you instead of the agency itself.
It's credibility.
Yeah, it's credibility, but it's also difficult to have those people, because those people you always have to, when you do stuff for a brand and you hire an agency, it's always difficult because you have to sign NDAs and stuff like that. So it's hard to to put on numbers on a presentation. And it's always harder to have that in B2B than in B2C, because B2C cases have more numbers.
They're also more exposed.
More exposed. So it depends also what kind of event you want to do.
So what do you think about these days? You have a lot of these online tools like Meetup and these kind of stuff. Would you say go there or take a landing page specific, create it your own, because a lot more work, or how do you?
Well, for SEO reasons, it's always better to create your own site, because a one-off event doesn't score immediately. So if you have the possibility to do multiple events or more events with a certain storyline,
landing pages,
it's better to have landing pages. Try to implement them in your own website. Perhaps make it different than the other pages.
Different name and
different name or another URL. Meetup pages is also very nice if you want to try to do new stuff or things like that. And if you have a free event,
I wanted to say I see a lot of free events, and also you can leverage the community of these platforms. Okay, let me ask you the question: how much should I ask for my event? Should I ask money for my event? That's a really tough one.
Yeah, in my experience, if you have an event or you create an event as a company, just to attract more prospects and existing clients, don't charge any ticket price.
Free. And but then I would say as a salesman, but then it has not a lot of value.
What do you mean with not a lot of value?
If you charge something, you weed out all the people that subscribe and not showing up.
Yeah.
That's the classic one. And two, you raise the value of what you're doing. You raise the bar, actually.
Yeah, but if you charge money, if you're a company and you create an event for your own, if you charge money, people expect to have also a very high standard event.
So high-end speakers, quality rules.
Yeah, and that's quite difficult because, like I said before, lots of those speakers tend to go very commercial. And you have three parameters when you create an event. First of all, when people go outside and they have attended your event, they want to 3 points. First point, who did I meet? Did I get networking, very important. Second, what did I learn? Most presentations do not close with the bullet points of what you have learned.
That's a good one.
Most invitations do not tell the people what they might learn at the event. And the third one, and it's probably typically Belgium, is that how was the food?
I wanted to say we have to talk about food, right?
Yeah, because if you ask your colleague or somebody else, you went to the event yesterday, how was it? Yeah, it was good, it was great, but the food was awful.
But the drinks were good.
Yeah, if you drink.
Yeah, because that has changed also. I see that a lot. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we jump quickly to trainings, because you also organize a lot of trainings. So what? Because I've seen the training landscape is changing. You feel that? So they're doing a lot more and more online. So we're getting a bit more the US approach. Is that something that's really picking up in the Benelux, or is that what's your?
You see, if you go international, you see a lot of webinars popping up, especially for those that really need training. So if you install a new service or a new product, like the big ones, then they have webinars.
But that's something that's been going on for a while, the webinars, and I think it.
But in Belgium, not really. Webinars are not really attractive. Online trainings is nice, but it's in a closed environment in your company for yourself.
Can I interrupt? Because I think I've seen a lot of webinars, and most of them are just boring and not good. That's why people hook off. But what I've seen, for instance, a team leader do, and I really liked it, they did a webinar and they always invited an expert.
Yeah.
And it was not a webinar about team leader. It was actually a webinar with the expert talking about, and they could ask. And I mean, they were like between 100 and 250 people in it.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
that's
one of the more successful I've seen actually.
Exactly, but that's again the thing. You don't talk about your product or service directly.
Not selling it
indirectly.
Yeah, I agree completely. Okay. So you have webinars, because I interrupted you. You have webinars.
Yeah.
And then what else? You have the classroom trainings.
Yeah. You have classroom trainings. You have really workshops, of course, interactive sessions, and so on. What people like the most is actually in a small group, because the small it's
like
Belgium, of
end.
course.
Yeah.
When you're in Belgium, there's not a lot of interaction. If you ask people, are there any questions? Not a lot of people will raise their hand.
No.
So the smaller the group, the better the interaction might be. So about 10 to 15 people is ideal for an introduction.
Multiple days?
Depending on the topic.
Because I find that really hard. So even if I go, then I'm thinking 2 days or a week.
Depending
sometimes.
on the topic.
But
If you do several workshops on a specific topic, make it really high level.
Yeah.
Because the people, not middle management, but also top management, really like to have those extended versions of trainings and events, because then they have, it might seem long, but it's actually a short period to have all the information at once.
Yeah. And then the other thing, that you have really expensive trainings. And the main argument for those trainings that I've seen, when I ask why did you go, it's like, of course, the knowledge, but then actually the real argument was the network.
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet people that are gonna be interesting for my business and all of that. So that's, I think, the one thing where you can push up price if you probably do it right.
That's also one of the reasons why lots of organizers, especially international, also put those icons or the logos of the attendees on the website.
On the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That people see, oh, Google is coming, or Microsoft is coming, or whatever. And then they want to be there, or they want to be part of it too.
Is there some other advice that you say, Michael, each time I see a pattern, you really need to think of this or that?
Like I said, Belgium is totally different from the surrounding countries. We always try to build in some kind of interactivity with the audience and the speaker, but it's not that easy. If you go to the Netherlands, for example, they are more commercial, more open. And open-minded too. If you ask, is there any question? 20 people raise their hand. Shut them up, actually. And even further, I've went to an event in the Netherlands, and the speaker asked, who wants to, tell in short what this presentation was about.
Really?
About 5 to 10 people raised their hand to do it.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I saw Gary V in Belgium, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he did an FAQ. And they had people lining up. So I think Belgians I think it depends a bit who and what and where, and it was very light. I mean, I was amazed they were asking questions. I think, I mean, dudes, you're exposing yourself like crazy here, huh? Like very weakness for the business.
But he's a top speaker. And it's probably and it's probably their own, their one possibility to have a sort of interaction with him.
And that works. That works.
That's not the guy you just send an email to.
Okay. So we always ask some questions that come back at the end of the show. So I have some more. So one of the questions is, where do you get inspired? Where do you get your content? Where do you learn? What do you watch?
First,
you read.
Read a lot of stuff.
But what?
Specifically websites on marketing and sales. Specifically international.
Do you have a dream site where you always go back to?
No, not really.
No? Because it's always good to put them in the description so you can have a check. Right?
Yeah, but no, it depends on the topic, because most events we do, our own concepts, are on different topics. Some of them go really in depth. Some of them are more general. So it really depends on the topic. And also because organizing events for about 15 years now. We have a lot of speakers, or sort of community of speakers, and just asking questions. That works. Via LinkedIn, just ask speakers some questions about what's hot in your country, what's new, what is the next thing we have to talk about, and also what do you see, or do you know other speakers that are experts on that specific topic.
Yeah.
Just asking questions.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
We were looking for an expert.
Yeah.
So, how do you say no? When somebody phones you up, wants to work with you, how do you say no?
To a company?
Yeah.
If they, you mean if they want to do an event for their company itself?
Yeah, and you don't believe in it, for instance.
Well, yeah, first of all, ask those questions of what's the goal, what you want to achieve, and how is it implemented in your marketing or your content strategy? Because to my belief, an event is still part of the content strategy.
Yeah.
Because you distribute content, you share knowledge.
So it's completely out of the...
And if it's just a one-off, and if it's not consistent or not really implemented in a sort of a storyline,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. No.
How do you keep focus?
Good question. Because
so focus on the question, right?
Yeah, for me. It's difficult to keep focus because I always distracted from other stuff. So I have to pull myself back in the seat. I'm kind of chaotic. So it's my way of changing everything on my screen to have sort of maps where I can put everything in. Nobody else can work like that or with my structure. But as far as it goes, my focus is just the basic is online, and the rest is in my head. So just follow for your gut feeling.
What's the biggest mistake that you've made in business? I don't want to hear about girlfriends and other stuff, right?
Well, the biggest mistake I've made in business, and I quite often make that mistake, is that I, like you said about focus, that I don't speed it up enough. Meaning that if I have an idea, it takes too long to
before you execute it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody else took it, or
that's a possibility. Yeah, that's a possibility. Or it fades away. Yeah. So, I have to take more time for the execution. Yeah.
What would be your biggest sales advice?
Sales advice meaning towards events or in general?
Let's take events.
Like I said before, if you do events, don't make it commercial. Don't let people know that it's really to have prospects and clients. But actually work around that content and spread the word. Make it also something that is consistent afterwards, after the event. It's not just one moment in the storyline, but it can be the beginning, it can be in the middle of, or it can be just at the end, but then you have to sort of fade out for the event. So just don't take it as one moment.
Is there like a book that inspired you the most? Because it's funny, with all the online, I still have people asking me, can I buy a book somewhere on sales or marketing? But is there like a favorite book you said that changed everything?
It's not really a book, but it's the events around us that inspires me most.
Yeah.
For the simple reason that I always want to know how people did it. Yeah. How people made it work. What they needed to get there, how to get the event, how to get the audience, and that's something that inspires me. Not really a book.
I can imagine when you walk into an event, you smell it. That's well done. They could have done better. I mean, you're looking at it really technically.
I always want to look at the back end of the event.
Of course.
But that's not really possible. No. Because not everybody wants to share those insights. But it triggers me to have to kind of create some other stuff or new concepts. Not really copying concepts, but try to fine-tune them or find new ways or find new speakers on a certain topic or find new topics. Yeah, because that's. Right.
We're looking forward to the new events. So where can people find? Where can our viewers find more about you and your company? And
of course on LinkedIn. Yeah. But next to that we have our own website, which is kooach.be. That's.
How do you write coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Kooach.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thanks a lot for joining the show. Rien.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. Pleasure is mine, and looking forward to see you on the next event.
All right.
We will put this movie on several media, so check the description to know where and find all the links. If you like what you've seen, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for a lot more that's coming to you.